Hello everyone, and welcome to the Ninth Grade Center Library. My name is Mrs. White, and I'm the librarian here. And sadly, I could not be with you guys today because I am currently on maternity leave. I will be for the first 3 weeks of school, but I'll be back the first week of September to help you guys survive your freshman year of high school. So I put this little video together so that way I could introduce myself, lay out a few things about the library, explain some of the rules and procedures, and of course introduce you to some of the really great resources we have available to you guys. Now, first things first, a little bit about myself. This is my 10th year in the district. Kind of crazy how fast that went. I taught 2 years of 8th grade English before teaching 4 years of honors English at the high school, and this is going to be my 4th year as a librarian at the 9th grade center, so I've been a little bit of everywhere, which is really nice because I know where you guys have been, and I also know where you guys are going, which really helps me prep you guys for what you need to know in order to be successful in high school. So we're going to be as brief as we can so we can get you guys up, moving, and checking out books and back to class. First thing we're going to talk about is the physical layout of the library. Basically, how the heck do you find anything in the library that you need, or how do you find the books that you like? And then, of course, I am going to also talk to you about a lot of our online resources that are available as well. So let's get started. Okay, so when it comes to the physical layout of the library, the first thing you need to know is obviously our books are divided into two main sections, our fiction and our nonfiction. Now, of course, fiction means fake. These are our make-believe stories, things that we read mostly for enjoyment. And then we have our nonfiction, which are more like research-based. Now, when you're looking at a book, you can tell if it's fiction or nonfiction simply by looking at the call number on the spine. Now, a fiction book is going to have an F followed by the first 3 letters of the author's last name. And these are all in alphabetical order according to the author's last name. Our nonfiction books, you'll notice instead of an F, they have a number. This number can range anywhere from 00.1 to 999.99. So you can see right here, this is a 398.2, and then it has BES. BES, once again, is either going to be the author or the editor of the book. So that's how you'll find it. First, you will look by the number. They are in numerical order, and then you'll look by the author's last name. Now, when you start to look for our nonfiction, you can see right now we're in this wing right here. Our nonfiction section starts right over there up against that wall, and that's where you're going to find the zeros. And they go in numerical order all the way over here behind me. I'm going to move my camera a little. They're going to run all the way across these windows here. You're going to notice on top of these shelves, we have signs that actually tell you what range of numbers are on each shelf. And they're going to run across the windows all the way on the other side of the library, and they're going to end kind of underneath where that black tarp is right now. That is not always there. That's only there right now because we're trying to block out the sun for EOC testing. So hopefully that's not there right now. So the nonfiction will end over in that wing with the 999s before starting a new section in the next wing. So now in our other wing of the library, we have 3 more sections. You can see right here to my right. This section here is the reference section, which all of our reference books are marked with an orange sticker to let you know the reference. And if you look on the spine, they're actually marked REF followed by the call number. So this is how you know it's a reference book. All our reference books are mostly nonfiction, and they're things like the Great Book of Inspiring Quotations, dictionaries, thesauruses, Great American Heroes, things of that nature. The reason they're marked reference is because these books typically cost a lot more. So if you took it home and lost it, it would cost a little bit more, of course, to replace it. So it's kind of just to let you know that check these out at your own risk. Please take good care of them. This next section we have is the one, this lower one right here below the window. This is our everybody section. And these are where you're going to find all of our easy readers. So like if you have a younger sibling, or if you do latchkey or work at a daycare or anything, if you need things like picture books, we have a pretty good selection available for you guys. And every easy reader, every everybody section book is marked with an E followed by the first 3 letters of the author's last name. The last section we have right up here that butts up against that TV you can see, this is our adult section. Now, the reason these books are marked adult is because some of the books actually contain a little bit more mature content. For example, one of them would be The Girl on the Train. These books have a marking on them, on the spine. It actually will say adult, and it'll tell you fiction, and it'll have the first three letters of the author's last name. Books in the adult section are available for you to check out. The only reason we put them there is so that way you guys know that they have more mature content. So this way when mom or dad calls us, we can actually say, well, it was in the adult section, this was explained to them, better talk to your child about why they chose this book. So yes, of course, you guys are more than welcome to check these out, but you guys know what you're supposed to have, so make sure you make good choices. Now, at the beginning of each wing, we're going to look at our next section of books. You'll see these kind of bookcases. They're almost more triangular shaped. There's one at the beginning of this wing and one at the beginning of the other wing on the other side of the library. These contain all of our biographies. Now, these books get their own shelves because we have so many biographies, which are basically stories about real people, about their lives. So they're really, really good when you're doing research about a specific person. For example, I'm going to get a little closer. A couple of the ones we have on the shelf right here, we see Muhammad Ali and Al Capone. Every book that is a biography is marked with a 921 and then the first three letters of the last name of the person you're looking for. So obviously Ali is going to be right there. Capone is going to be CAP, and so on. Now we have two shelves of these. So you can actually see on the top of each shelf, I'm going to bring it a little closer to you, there is a little marker that will tell you this is biography section ADA through PYT. So if the person you're looking for falls alphabetically in that range, they're going to be on that bookshelf. Now, if they are Q through Z, they're going to be on the biography bookshelf at the beginning of the other wing. And once again, you're going to search just like you do the nonfiction. You're going to look first by the number, which the numbers are all the same, and then you're going to look by the first three letters of the last name you're looking for. So like right here, these are all our A's. And then over here, they go to the H's. If you go around to the other side, it keeps going alphabetically. So that way you can find the person you're looking for when you're doing your research. Okay, now we are going to talk about our most popular section of books, which are our fiction books, the stories that are fake, made up, mostly read just for pleasure. Now, all of our fiction books are in these 7 freestanding shelves in the very center of the library. So it's really one of the first things you see when you walk in. Now, once again, ours is organized probably a little bit different than you're used to, especially if you went to Troy South. Now, most of the books, when you were looking at Troy South, were organized according to genre, which meant you could go and look for books that said, or like, where are the sports books? Where are the books on romance and so on? Our books are not organized like that because one of the skills you guys need as high school students is the ability to search a library that you're going to have to search similar to the ones you'll probably see in college or a public library. So ours are all organized alphabetically according to the author's last name. You can see all of these right here in alphabetical order. Now, something we have done to help you guys with the adjustment from maybe a genre-fied library to a more traditional one is every single book we have is marked with a genre sticker. So if you have a favorite genre, you can actually walk through the books and just look at the stickers to find your favorite type of book. So like, for example, we've got realistic fiction. So these are more stories about overcoming obstacles, things that probably could actually happen in your life. Fantasy, obviously these things are going to incorporate magic or the supernatural. Mystery, these are going to be your whodunits. Historical fiction, it's going to take place sometime in the past, usually around an event that really happened, but the characters are made up. Romance, obviously going to be about falling in love. We've also got horror and suspense, science fiction, and so on. So this is a really easy way to kind of find the type of book that you like without having to find a specific section or a genre-fied section of the library. Now, on the top of each bookcase, once again, to help you out, right here, it's going to tell you what books alphabetically are on the shelf. So here in a little bit, when I show you guys how to use the catalog, it is going to give you a call number every time you search for a book. So it'll say F and then the first three letters of the author's last name.
So if your author's last name starts with a D, they are not going to be on the shelf. You're going to walk on down right here and see C-A-R through E-C-H. If your author's last name starts with a D, they're going to be somewhere on this bookshelf. Okay, so you can just walk down. You're going to start at that end. That's where it starts alphabetically. Just read the shelf top to bottom until you get to the bottom. If you still didn't find it, start in the next shelf and go top to bottom. And that is the way you read those shelves. So that's the way you're going to look and access your fiction books. So it's pretty simple once you get used to it. And of course, if you ever have trouble, if you're looking for something specific, don't hesitate to ask. We will help you find what you need to find.
Okay, so now that we've had a chance to talk about the physical layout of the library a little bit and talk about where our nonfiction books are, where our fiction books are, of course it's time to actually talk about some of our really popular books that are going to be available for you guys this year. Now, hopefully, when you guys were in middle school, many of you participated in the Truman Voting Awards or parties last year, where you got to try and read at least, I believe it's 4 Truman books over the course of the year, and then, of course, you got to come to a party to vote for your favorite. Well, at the high school level, we have something very similar, but instead of the Truman books, these are the Gateway books. Now, the Gateway books do tend to incorporate more mature content because obviously they're targeted at students grades 9 through 12. So you're going to find more mature characters, more mature situations and things like that, things that you guys would probably, actually experience, in your life, or things you're actually dealing with now rather than what middle schoolers are probably dealing with. So if you can see right here, I'll move my angle down a little bit. There's a big old stack of them. There are 15 nominees for this year. And every year, of course, there are 15 nominees. But right now I only have 13 of them right here because the other 2, both copies are checked out. So it's going to take a few minutes to talk to you guys about some of them. Some of you are my favorites, and just give you a chance to check them out. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. One of the first books nominated for this year is the story Heartless by Marissa Meyer. Really great author. If you've read any of her other books, she wrote the Cinder series. So there was Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, Winter, and so on. Really, really fun series. And this one is a standalone book. It's an interesting take on the Alice in Wonderland story. This is the story of how the Queen of Hearts actually became basically this villain, this off-with-their-head villain of Wonderland. Because she didn't always start out that way. When she started out, she was just a normal girl who had dreams, who wanted to fall in love, and fate took her down a very, very different path until she became the Bloody Queen in the classic fairy tale. Our next book, this one's a science fiction book. You can see the sticker on the side, called Scythe. Basically, this is a dystopian book, which means it takes place in the future where things have usually gone very wrong. Now, in this society, they have perfected health. Like, everybody lives, a really long time. People don't die. They don't get sick. They don't age. Well, of course, the problem with that is going to be eventually overpopulation. So certain individuals are basically recruited to become scythes, which basically their job is to be death dealers. Like, they get a list of people that they have to go around and have to kill to keep the population down. And if they don't follow through, then they themselves are killed. So this is a story of a boy and a girl who are, against their will, recruited to be scythes and what they're going to do about it. All right, the next book, Three Dark Crowns by Kendare Blake, a really fun author if you like things that are a little bit darker. And this is the story of 3 princesses, but these are not your typical princesses. If you read the back, it says, 3 dark queens are born in a glen. Sweet little triplets will never be friends. 3 dark sisters, all fair to be seen. 2 to devour, and 1 to be queen. Because here's the deal. In order for one of these princesses to become queen, she has to kill her other 2 sisters. So this is the story of these sisters as they basically begin the ultimate bloody competition for the throne. Now, if you want something that's a little bit more realistic, this one's historical fiction. It's called Salt to the Sea. This is based on a true story, of course, but the characters are fictional. It's about a group of refugees who are trying to escape their home country because of genocide, war. It's just basically a really terrible place to live, and they're taking a ship to try and find, a new and better life. But when they're out in the middle of the ocean, the boat sinks. And so it's their story of survival out in the middle of the giant ocean with no one around to help them. If you're looking for something a little bit lighter, want a little love story, you see my romance sticker. Tell Me Three Things is really, really cute. It's about this girl who transfers to a new school, and she's left everything behind, her life, her friends, everything. She's not really sure how to fit in. Well, after her first day at school, she gets an email from some person calling themselves Somebody Nobody, and basically they offer to help her, show her the ropes, so that way she can be successful at the school, but they won't tell her who she is or who they are. So they start this kind of online connection, and she's trying to figure out who this person is. And so every time they talk, they make this deal that they're each going to tell each other three things about themselves. And so the whole book is about her trying to figure out which one of these people or characters in the book is Somebody Nobody. So really light, fun, cute romance story. If you're looking for something a little different, The Serpent King is very, very interesting. It's about a boy who is the son of a pastor, and he's actually their parish's snake handler. Like, some religions, they actually have a snake handler, a viper handler. Well, that's this boy's job. And as high school graduation rapidly approaches, he really realizes he doesn't have any idea what he's going to do with his life, and he's gotten really, really close to this girl who's really on top of it, fashionista, and she's got plans to get out of there. And so he's got to really make some tough choices about what he wants out of his life, what does he want from his family, and of course, what does he want from this girl. My next one, sorry, I'm bumping my camera. This one was actually a lot of fun. It's called Holding Up the Universe. It's really interesting because it's so different. The main character was once known as America's fattest teen. At one point in her life, I think she weighed over 600 pounds and had to be crane lifted out of her house for emergency medical attention. And this story actually takes place several years after that, when she's lost, I think, about half the weight, and she's going back to school for the first time. And so she's kind of nervous about it because she's still kind of heavy, She doesn't want to be known as America's fattest teen. But her very first day back, she actually is the target of a very cruel bullying trick. And it really kind of sets her back a little bit. And so she and this boy, who's really, really popular, the guy that played the trick on her, gets sent to this after-school group where they have to start connecting and talking about their problems. Well, it turns out this really popular boy who played this mean trick on her actually has his own secret that nobody else knows, and it allows her and him to connect in a way that no one's ever connected before. So this is kind of their story of finding out who they are and what they want out of life and what they think they should be. Really, really good story. Now, raise your hand. I can't see you, but I'm assuming you're doing it. If you watched the movie Everything, Everything at some point in the last year or year and a half. I'm sure there's at least one person with their hand up right now, and if not, you guys are probably lying. But if you like the story Everything, Everything, this is actually a story by the same author, Nicola Yoon. The son is also a star. So if you kind of like that story of like forbidden romance, adventures, taking risks, this is probably a really good, fun one to pick up. Nice, easy read. If you're actually looking for something that's true, this year we actually have a nonfiction title. We usually are only fiction with the Gateways. This is really kind of neat. This story is All the Gallant Men, and this is actually a true account of the bombing of Pearl Harbor and what this man, Donald Stratton, went through and how he survived. And it's actually quite horrible, everything that he went through in order to survive and what he saw happening to his shipmates and his friends. So if you actually are really into historical events, things that actually happen, this is probably right up your alley. If you want something a little bit different, My Lady Jane. Very, very funny. It's classified as historical fiction, but there is a little fantasy thrown in. It's about the little girl who was queen for 6 days or 8 days. I'm sorry. She was queen for 8 days, really, in history. But these authors right here, it's a combination of Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows. They got together and decided they were going to rewrite history. So they took this actual historical figure and told her story in a very, very different light. So if you like something that's a little historical, a little fantastical, and a lot funny, this is a fun one to read. When We Collided, if you like books that are more like The Fault in Our Stars, All the Bright Places, Extraordinary Means, stories about kids trying to overcome impossible odds or really tough situations. When We Collided is a great little kind of a love story, but more a story about finding out who you are and actually living the life you want to live. So that's another good one. If you like those books about illnesses, The Memory Book is probably a good choice. This is a story about a girl named Samantha, and she actually finds out that she has an illness where, as she gets older, she's going to start forgetting more and more, that basically her memory is just going to completely deteriorate. So she just starts a book called The Memory Book, and this is where she's going to write everything down, all of her important experiences, things she needs to remember, even little things like, hey, you've got a study guide due on Friday. This way she can actually go through and remember her life. So this is her story of trying to overcome this disease. One of the last ones I've got right here, The Symptoms of Being Human. This one's definitely another one that's a little bit different. This is the story about Riley, I believe his name is. Yes, Riley. And he is actually the son of a congressman. And what makes this story so interesting is Riley actually identifies as gender fluid. Now, that's probably hard for any kid, but being the son of a congressman who's always in the spotlight, it makes it even harder. And he has not had the chance yet to tell his parents, that he's actually gender fluid. So he says, I'm not a boy, I'm not a girl, I'm just Riley. So this is his story, or her story, depending on the day. So with the gateways, remember, if you read at least 3 gateway stories over the course of the school year, you get to come to a gateway voting party here in the library in the spring. And usually those are pretty fun. Of course, we vote for our favorite book. We usually have food of some kind. We play games. There are prizes. There's candy usually. So if you read 1 book per quarter, or even less than that, then you get a chance to come and vote for your favorite book. So every time you read one of these books, we'll give you a little sheet of paper and a sticker with the picture of the book on it. And we'll hang those up outside the library. Once you have 3 stickers, you have secured your invite. Now, of course, the more books you read, the more accurately you're going to be able to vote for your favorite. So 3 is the minimum, but of course, the more you read, the happier we are. So anytime you read one, just come see me or Mrs. Rao, and we will get you guys a piece of paper and a sticker. Okay, so once again, I know that was a lot of information for you fairly quickly, but we're not done yet, because one of the other things I need to talk to you guys about is our online resources that are available to you. So I'm going to talk about specifically the NGC Library website, which is going to let you access a variety of resources, including our library catalog, our databases. We're going to give you updates on things that are going on with our books and our gateways and promotions in the library, the Epsilon Beta Club, and so on. So let's take a look at some of our online resources.
Okay, so one of the first things we need to talk about in terms of our electronic or online resources is our library website. Now, to access the library website, the first thing you need to do is come to the Lincoln County School District homepage, and you need to select the Troy 9th Grade Center. So click Schools, come here and click 9th Grade Center, and this will take you to the 9th Grade Center homepage. Now, once you're at the 9th Grade Center homepage, you simply scroll down the page a ways where you see these list of tabs, options within the homepage. We need the Programs homepage. So click Programs, and this will take you to the option for Library Media Center. Now, I know that's a lot of steps, but trust me, you will get the hang of it. Once you click on that, it will take you to the homepage. Now, the homepage, of course, is going to list upcoming promotions, things going on in the library, feature highlighted books. Any of these types of things are going to tell you what's going on that's new in the library. So you can kind of see all of that on the homepage, in addition to information about our makerspace, which we will talk about here shortly. So when you're on the homepage, there are several tabs that you want to get familiar with. There's the Meet Mrs. White tab, so if you want to learn more about me, you can click on that one. If you want to learn more about the Gateway Award nominees, there's that one as well. If you click on that, it's going to show you past year's winners, and it's also going to show you all of the nominees for this school year. It's got a picture of the book, the title, the author, a brief summary, and many of them also have book trailers. So if you're really trying to decide which one of the gateways you want to read, just click on the book trailer, watch it, and maybe it'll help sway your opinion on which book you're going to be most interested in. So this is a great way to learn more about the gateways and which ones you might actually be interested in. Okay, the next one, this is probably the most important page on the website. This is the Symbaloo page. Now, a Symbaloo is just a fancy way to say a collection of links in the form of tiles that will allow you to access all of the library's important resources. Now, for example, all of the ones here in blue, or in purple, I'm sorry, these are all our research databases. So anytime you need to do a paper or an argument or a debate, these are the places that you're going to want to go to make sure that you're getting quality research information, because it's no longer enough for you guys to go to Google and try and find research, because Google is not always reliable, because as hopefully many of you know, pretty much anybody can put anything they want out on the internet. But if you use a research database like the ones you see here, you can be guaranteed that the information on these sites has been verified by professionals or experts in the field, meaning the quality of your research is going to be a lot better. We have a library Twitter page, so if you want to find out what's going on, getting tweets about the library, you can look right there. I'm going to be adding one for Instagram here shortly. If you want some resources for the Makerspace, those are up here as well. If you need help with proofreading or editing a paper, these resources right here, like Grammarly and PaperRater, they are designed to allow you to actually input your research paper or your essay into their program, and they will actually give you a grade on your paper based on your current level of education. So let's say you're a 9th grade student. They're going to say, all right, based on the paper you submitted, you would get a B+, and here's what you did wrong. You didn't have a high enough level of vocabulary. You had too many incomplete sentences. You didn't use commas in the right places. So it will actually allow you to improve the quality of your paper before you turn it into your teacher. If you really enjoy reading and you don't have enough books in the library, this right here, this BB Books, this is actually free ebooks. It's called BookBub. And it's a great resource because you can sign up online, give them your email, and they will email you daily with notifications about books that you can get online for free from places like Amazon or Barnes & Noble and so on. So if you're like me and you don't have a lot of money but you have a really big reading habit, this is a great place to go to get really cheap, affordable titles. So I'm pretty much constantly updating this, and definitely you want to take some time to kind of just go through it and see what we've got. But this is a great way to find some resources to help you guys be successful in your classrooms. One of the last things I want to show you right here is this tile that says NGC Library Catalog. Now this one is important because this is a direct link to our library catalog. So you can actually search and see what books we have available in the library. So when you click on that, it's going to ask you what school you need to go to. And it's going to take you to this page. You want to click Catalog, and now we can actually search for books anywhere in the library. So let's say that you like books about football. If you type in football and tell it keyword search, it will bring up a list of all of the books that we have related to football. So right here, this first page, these are titles 1 through 25 of 132 titles about football. So this is the best way to search for things in the library because it's going to get really, really specific. Now, when you find a title that you like, you need to be able to tell, once again, is that title fiction or nonfiction? Because your teachers might have a preference. So, for example, right here, football in the SEC. The call number is 796.33 ROZ. Now, remember, since it starts with a number, this means it is nonfiction. It's going to be a factual book about real teams, real football players, and so on. This book here, Football Genius, the call number is FGRE. This means it is a fiction book. It will be found in the fiction section of the library, and it is a made-up story about a character who plays football. Now, if you find a title that you think you're interested in, you can click on the title, and it will take you to a page where you find more information about it. You'll see a brief summary of what the book is about. You'll come down here, you'll see keywords, football, sports, Atlanta. It's part of a series, and so on. It also gives you like the reading level, so you can figure out how challenging it is, how big the book is. Like here you can see it's 244 pages, so you know right away if that book is too big or too small for you, and so on. So pretty much you can get every piece of information you need about the book right here on this catalog. You don't even have to come to the library. This way, when you come to the library to find a book, you just get this call number, and you can walk right to the exact spot in the library you need to go in order to find the book. So it's pretty handy, pretty simple. All right, so back to the library website. If you look here, we also have things like online tutorials. Now, if you need help using any of the resources that we have available, like if you want to find out how to use PaperRater on the Symbaloo, This video right here will walk you through everything it does and exactly how to use it. If you need to use the SIRS database to do some research for different arguments or different debate topics, this is a great place to go. Same thing with the EBSCOhost tutorial. So these are actually little videos that will show you how to access this information and how to use it really effectively and efficiently. Okay, so the next page on the library website I want to talk to you about, and it's one of the last things we're going to hit on. This is our Makerspace webpage. Now, if you'll see right across the top, it's kind of hard because it's white, but it says Makerspace. If you click on this, it will tell you all about our library Makerspace. Now, our Makerspace is only 2 years old, so it is still fairly new, so we're still adapting it and adding to it. But this is a chance for you guys to come up to the library during Academic Lab to use some of the resources that we have available to kind of just experiment and have fun and just try something new. One of the big things we have right here is our 3D printer. So you can actually create a 3D digital print, of a real object. So like if you want to print a keychain or a cell phone case or any kind of figurine, you can just print those out. And if you want to learn about the 3D printer, like what actually it is, what does it do, what can you print, if you click on the title of the page right there, it will take you to a link all about the 3D printer. So you can see right here, this is the one we have, the Lulzbot Mini. And it will have a short video showing you how a 3D printer actually works. And there are also links to videos about how you can design your own 3D prints and create your own custom prints instead of just printing things that have already been pre-created. However, if you're not super creative and you want to look for things that have already been pre-created, here's a little tutorial about a place called Thingiverse. It's a website, and it has thousands of files that have already been created that you can just download and print directly to the 3D printer. So a lot of different things you can do with the 3D printer. If you do a 3D print, we do ask that you pay a $3 fee in order to cover the cost of the filament. But you can print as many times as you want as long as the 3D printer is available, and of course you can pay for the 3D print. Some other things we have, the Raspberry Pi. It's a credit card size computer that we have hooked up to a TV in the library with a keyboard and a mouse. So you can actually use this Raspberry Pi to learn more about coding using programs like Python or Scratch. We have a green screen, so if you want to come in and take pictures and Photoshop them or create videos with your own fun personal backgrounds, make like newscasts, you can do that. The Makey. This is a really neat tool that allows you to turn any object into a computer key. So you can see right here they've got banana and Play-Doh. Well, you actually hook it up with these alligator clips, and it will allow you to simply touch the banana, touch the Play-Doh, and it will act or function as a computer key and import it into the computer. We have things for more like engineer types. We have erector sets, gizmos and gadgets that allow you to build and tinker. We have 3 Spheros, which a Sphero is a small little robotic ball that you can control using an iPad. So your own iPad, you simply have to download the app. And a lot of times we like to set up things like obstacle courses or like races in the hallways so you guys can compete and see who's the best Sphero driver. We also have other things like Chibi lights, so you can actually learn more about lights and circuitry and connecting electronics. So if you're not really into technology and you want to do more of like arts and crafts projects, we have that available as well. We have things like t-shirt hacking, origami. You can teach yourself how to knit or crochet. You can make blankets. There really are all kinds of different things, and we try and change it up to keep something kind of new available to you guys all the time. We, of course, also have a monthly STEM challenge. STEM, of course, stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And this is simply a challenge that we set up each month for kids to compete to see who can use their skills the best. So what we do, like for one example, we have a catapult challenge. So anybody who participates in this catapult challenge, of course, builds their own catapult using the only the resources provided within certain parameters, and then they can see how far they can launch a certain object. Now, of course, the student who launches the object the farthest wins a prize at the end of the month. So it's a pretty kind of fun way for you guys to kind of compete and just come up and just try something new and have fun with it. So if you ever want to sign up for the Makerspace, you do have to reserve a spot. If you look on the home page, and if you scroll down to the bottom, this is where it will always be. There is a red Makerspace button right here. And you click on this to reserve your day. Now, also before I click on that, right down here at the bottom, we have a Makerspace video that shows you guys some of these different items in action. Like you can kind of see right there, those are kids using the green screen. So if you want to learn more about the Makerspace and see some of these items actually being used, that's a great place to go. Okay, so in order to reserve your day, let's say that you want to come to the Makerspace. If you click on this button, it takes you to a website called Sign Up Genius, and it will show you right here what days we have available in the Makerspace. So you can see right here, 9/11, this is going to be our first day we're open for the Makerspace because I'm going to be coming back from maternity leave about that time, and I need a little time to set up the Makerspace. So for each day, we have 10 slots available. So 10 kids can come up to the Makerspace on Tuesdays or Thursdays. So if you find a day that you want, you simply click on the white button, and you can sign up for multiple days at a time. That's fine. So let's say you want to sign up for the 11th and the 18th. You click Submit and Sign Up. Now right here in the comment section, you don't have to put anything in here, but it is strongly advised because this is how you reserve your spot on a certain tool. Like for example, the 3D printer is definitely the item that is used the most often, and sometimes finding a time to use it, it's a little hard because most kids call dibs on it. So let's say that you want to use the 3D printer on these days. So you just want to type in 3D printer, and maybe Sphero. And this way I know that on this Tuesday you want to do a 3D printer, and on this day you want a Sphero. Now here you just put your first and last name, and you can also put your email address because this site will actually email you the day before and say, don't forget, you're signed up for Makerspace tomorrow. And this way, if you reserved your spot on 3D printer, you don't basically lose your place in line. You're actually holding your spot, and it will remind you that you need to come up. Now, if you save your day and you can't come up, you can always go in and cancel your spot and open it up for somebody else. There's no penalty for that, but just try to be courteous and make sure that if you sign up that you can actually be there so you're not preventing somebody else from coming up to the Makerspace. All right, so that is our library website. Like I said, there's always new things on here, new things going on. So hopefully you guys take a chance to visit this and check it out for resources. Of course, always feel free to come and see me and talk to me about anything on the webpage, anything you want to add or anything you want to know more about, and I'll be more than happy to help you guys out.